Alright, a little video on directions and overlap sphere casts. I'm just going to create I'll just do a train because they're nice and big. I'm going to create what would be considered our player. Let's make him a capsule. Let's stick him there. So, for anyone who doesn't know it, and I imagine everyone should know this by now, but maybe not. So Z, X, and Y. Z's typically your forward, right? So he's facing that direction. So just to make sure that we can always see that without maybe having whatever on there, I'm just going to adjust this so he has a bit of a way that we can tell like which way is his front. Right, so now we have a front. That's his face. It's a horrible face. It's a face only a mother would love, but hey, it's a face. Okay, so Joe Blow is sitting there, and we're gonna have a box. And this could be anything. Maybe it's a treasure chest, or maybe it's a trigger. Right, like say this is a treasure chest, and we could even, no, we'll just leave it like that. So, what if you wanted to open this and you wanted to, you only wanted to do it if your character was facing it. So if you're like this, and you go over and hit a button, you don't want it to work. You only want it to work if your character is within a certain facing direction of this various thing. Now, you could use a trigger and force your character to face it, but let's do it this way instead. I'm just going to add an FSM, and I should make sure my audio, because I had issues with it. Okay, so the audio looks like it's at least on. Okay, so player. So I am going to put this thing on a layer. Doesn't matter. I'm going to call it a POI layer, using it for another tutorial. And over here, I am going to, let's say, get button down. Fire one, sure. I'll give it any kind of event, just something to get going. So we hit a button, we're going to go do something, right? So this is our input, and this is, okay, let's find everything. All right, so I'm going to use overlap sphere. Beautiful action. If people don't use it or don't know how to use it, get used to it. This thing's one of the most useful actions you can use in a lot of different cases. It's a lot more performant than many other methods out there. So, and this thing, I don't think it has any kind of good gizmos. Oh, it does have a good gizmo. Okay, look at that. So, let's say we're going to check that size of area. All right, so we need an array. So found objects. So we're going to use, okay, well, apparently it wants a specific type of array. Oh, I made a float array. Well, that's stupid of me. So found objects, it's a game object array, as it should be. I'm going to use the mask of that point of interest. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is next frame event, and this is going to act as a check. So if nothing is found, I'm just going to go back to the input. But if something is found, then we found something, right? So technically right now, if I play it, we should see, if I click my button, it's not finding anything, but if I move this guy closer, he found that, right? Works pretty good. Right, so the thing is now we're dealing with an array. All right, so what if you only want to get the closest object in this array, maybe? Well, let's do array get next. And I believe array list actually has a function just to do that on its own. Okay, so found stuff, we're going to loop and finish. We'll call it done. The result is current. So we're gonna, okay, so we'll just go over there. So during this loop, I guess really don't got to worry about distance because we have this guy. I mean, that should be our distance. But what if we say, okay, well, let's do, are we facing it? So if you don't have forward, it's a great one to get. I'm actually going to stick it right up here. Actually, I'm not going to bother getting it between the entire array. There's no real point. Get forward. Which also, I'm kind of surprised that no one hasn't made the other ones of getting up and left and right or whatever. So my forward, I mean, they're easy to make. I should almost just make them. So, okay, so we're going to get our forward, which is a direction, right? We're going to loop through this array, and we are going to get position, and we can stick one of those up in this prep. We'll get our position. So we have our forward, our position, world. We're going to get position of the current, also world, vector3 operator, and we're going to take we need to current object position. So we're going to take the current object position and our position. We're going to subtract those, and that's going to give us a direction. And then because I like to normalize it, and I don't know why, it's just something I like to do. You really don't need to do this, but I don't know, force the habit, I guess. I'm going to normalize it. And now I am going to vector3 operator. Move to the bottom. I'm going to take our direction and our forward and do angle. And well, I'll just show you what that looks like right now. So let's just turn these on every frame just for a moment here. Yeah. It's not going to be 100% accurate because my forward's over here, so I can't get it every frame. So let's put him there. Right, so ideally what we have is, like, we get the position, we do a bunch of our vector stuff, and in the end we have an angle, which is now 25 degrees. So there's our forward, and this guy's here, so that is 25 degrees. And if I take this guy, and if you watch down here, he's 25, right? So now he's, 25-ish on that side. He's not going to hit 0 unless we get right up and even with it. Which, I mean, you can alter that by just comparing the some of the other stuff. Anyways, but yeah. So I mean, if we're at 90 degrees, and we're at 90 degrees. Now there's no positive, negative going this way. There's a whole nother step if you want to get that in depth to it. But in our world, for this, if say we want to activate it, maybe we want to be 45 degrees. We want to be under 45 degrees. Right, so I'm going to turn off these every frames. We don't need them. And now I'm going to do a float compare. So we're going to take the angle and we're going to take 45. And if it's less, then we can use. And if it's greater, try other. So if we try other, let's just go back and keep looping through. But if we can use it, well, for now, let's just destroy object, destroy current, and then we can just finish, I suppose. Right. So now, I click the button, nothing happens. Let's turn this guy, and I come over here. So now we can see it. I click the button, nothing happens. But if I'm facing it, I destroy it. Just like that. Right? And the way we got that destroy set up, after it destroys, it just ends. But I mean, you could loop through everything again. Just keep looping it through everything. Right? Like if we do this, and I go into this guy, and let's just expand the range out a bit. And on destroy, let's just go back to the loop. So we're going to loop through everything until the loop is done. And as you see, now I destroyed whatever I'm facing in that angle. I got to turn them, click again. So that's how we do angle checks and stuff. Well, anyways, I'll talk to you guys in the next video.